Let people jump in if they want to. Software's updated.
No. Didn't know you were getting all fancy.
I didn't want to. Well, so it was one of those things where like I've been putting off this update for a long time. Like every time you open it, it's like, oh, new update. You want to update? And I'm like, no, not now. I'm about to do a show. Not now. About to do a show. Not now. And then I was like, well, every time I've updated, it's only taken a couple of seconds, and like they're usually just fixing things. It's not that big of a deal. So last week I decided to update, and all these things changed and the plugins weren't working, and I was like, oh man, I knew I shouldn't have hit the button. I knew I shouldn't, but it's been a pretty good update. It looks nicer now. It feels more professional.
All right, well, let's hit it. We'll try to go to 9 or 9:15, just depending on how we're going.
Okay, let me pop out the chat. Okay on that, and roll the intro. Maybe. Hold on.
You just did it.
Yeah, I was trying to hit my button and that wasn't working, so I have to do it manually. A second. A second.
Oh, hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. This is George Teague here. I'm out on location tonight. I mentioned it. I missed last week, but man, we're sitting out at the Leonard Street Grill and Tap House in Plano, Texas, located at 6205 Court Road in Plano. If you're out there and you're just listening to what's going on and you want to pop in, have a good drink, come on by because I'm sitting here just chilling, which is a great thing because, uh, man, the owner has a big birthday today. Yes, sir. Happy birthday to Calvin. We appreciate you, man, for supporting Teague Steak, having you out here, having us out here. This is at the corner of Spring Creek and Coit Road, as a matter of fact. This is something that we wanted to kick back up, just being out on location a little bit. So before COVID, we were out doing it as a group, spending some time in a local um, bar or something to do the podcast. But now, then COVID hit and we had to stop it. So we're back on it again. Um, JT, my co-host, is not here because he has family obligations that he has to do. So tonight we were supposed to have the Rocket Ishmael in on the show, but he had to back out because he had to go to another appearance somewhere out of town. He's very popular. Yeah, he dissed us a little bit, but when Notre Dame isn't doing very well, that's kind of what happens. So I want to start this show out with actually talking about birthdays since it's Calvin's birthday because it's kind of interesting to me on how people think differently about birthdays. Are they really, really excited about it? Do they got to have the parties? Do they got to have all the candles and the cakes? Um, or do you
Or
just
they
like to
like
chill
me.
on your birthday? Or like you? I don't know how you are, but I know how I am, JT. That I it's okay if we celebrate the birthday. If we don't, I'm okay with that too. I just want to go for a dinner, maybe have a drink or two, and call it a night. Um, so I'd be interested to know from the peeps how we feel about that. So before we get into any football and all that kind of stuff, why don't we bring JT in? He is the magnificent one, the daddy ultra something, the daddy something. uh, but he is very analytical. He's very opinionated, and I know he's probably got something to say about these birthdays. So,
I mean, I understand other people wanting to celebrate their birthday. Um, it's not something that I subscribe to. It's just another day on the calendar, and I really enjoy it for people to stop bothering me about it. What because I just hate all the questions. Well, what you want to do? What do you want? I want to be left alone. That's what I want.
but you, bro, I'm just saying. I know who raised you, and I know how important birthdays are to your mother
I know,
and the
and and
festivities
and
that
my
have to
wife.
happen. Oh, really?
Yes.
Emily's like that too, huh? Got to be
Yeah. Well, I
doing something.
mean, their whole family they subscribe to birth weeks. Where's your birthday the whole week? Like, look, man, I just this year on my birthday was great. I stayed here. I had a capital B beverage. Played some video games with my friends for about an hour and a half. Went to bed. Slept in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what we did for you. Oh,
I think I came to your house the day before. Had dinner.
oh yeah. Your mom loves to cook for you. So anytime she can do it, birthdays,
Yeah.
Father's Day, kids' birthdays,
Well, it's
anything.
the follow up questions that always get me because it's like cool if you want to cook, that's great, but I don't want to make the decision on what you're cooking. Anything, that's fine.
Okay, so what is the best birthday gift all time? Doesn't matter what age you are. The one that you just remember, like, man, that was amazing.
That's hard.
If anything, was it clothes? Was it electronics? Was it money? A trip? Uh, I don't know what all the things that you.
Maybe a trip. I mean, we went on vacation a lot during my birthday, so I don't know if that was necessarily a birthday present or just kind of like coincidentally we were out for a summer vacation. But I don't know. I don't know that I have an answer for you.
Well, I can tell you
I've
one of
had
mine.
I've had 29
Consuelo.
birthdays. That's a lot of birthdays.
Oh, that's not enough. It's not enough for you yet.
No, that's a lot of birthdays to try to go back and remember.
Well, I can tell you one of mine. I've had a lot too, but your mom actually gave me a surprise birthday party in
Shreveport.
Shreveport. She did very, very well because I had no idea, no clue that she had people coming from all over the country to meet us at a casino out in Shreveport. And that was, I think our temperament is kind of the same in a lot of things. And I was kind of mad and upset, man. Why are we driving and where we going and what we doing, and I probably was very foul to her in that regards. And then, you get there and you get the big surprise and everybody's kind of there. It was actually kind of cool to have that, happen. Um, but I'm good with just going to Gin Bay.
Yeah, I know that's
and,
your favorite.
and,
Not a
and eating.
sponsor, could be.
Huh?
I said not a sponsor, but could be.
Oh yeah, I guess I shouldn't have gave him free advertisement on that. But anyway, okay. So outside of the birthdays, there's a lot of stuff that's going on in the football world, college, pros. I want to start with some college stuff because there's a big game out here in Texas happening. I believe it's at the AT&T Stadium this week.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas is playing Texas A&M. Who do you think's gonna to win this one? Jimbo got I don't know if he's on the hot seat or anything, but Arkansas is on the rise. Texas A&M needs to have this big win because it could be bad if they fall to one and or what are they? I guess it could be their second loss.
They're 2-1 right now, I believe.
Yeah. So, does Jimbo get on the hot seat at some point in time if he loses like this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, I think he's already on the hot seat. Not well. It should be It's getting warm. I don't think he's really in danger of losing his job because he has a 10-year, $100 million contract, and he's like 2 years into it or something like that. Well, I guess maybe he's 4 years into it, but they would owe him a lot of money to get rid of him. But that loss to App State.
Who picks those games when you pay people? Is it an athletic director? Is it a football coach? Who picks
I think
it
it's
and
the
say,
athletic
okay,
director.
Well, that kind of sucks. Do you walk into the AD and go, why'd you put them dudes on the schedule?
Well, they like schedule those games out like sometimes a decade in advance. So
Okay. But still. So there's been a lot of talk about this. I don't want to dive into it because people can take it the wrong way, but I feel like we need to point it out because someone pointed out on the radio that Jimbo's record at this time is the same as Kevin
Sumlin's. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Point. And it's like one game different. And he get
Well,
fired.
look, I said this on the show last week.
Mm-hmm.
So now I have to stand by it because I made it public. I had not previously stated this opinion publicly, but I had said that I don't think that Jimbo's a very good coach. Like he is not somebody that I would spring $100 million for.
It's going that way for everybody, brother.
I know, but like there would be very few. I don't know. Maybe outside of Saban, I don't know there's any coach that I would offer 10 years to right off the bat.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Especially nowadays. I don't know. Maybe you just want to lock up some people and all that kind of stuff. So, whatever. It'll be interesting to see how that game goes. You know, your cohort, your coach that coaches what your coach love is an Arkansas fan.
Mm-hmm.
Played at University of Arkansas, so I think he was feeling really confident, but I don't think he should feel that confident at all. I feel like Texas A&M can take them. I do, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, it's one of those games where you always just throw the records out because no matter how bad Arkansas was that year, you know, there was the time that Arkansas was losing to UNT at home, and it was still a close game when they went and played A&M, if not beating A&M. So it's still weird to me that, and I'm pulling up the game cast to see if it's changed. So the line has changed a little bit, but
it's 2.5. What is it?
It's 1.5. So more people are like me now that saw A&M -2 and was like, "What? You joking?" So now it's A&M -1.5. Line is moving back towards Arkansas. I don't see, even through 3 games, you know, A&M beats Sam Houston State 31-0, which I didn't see the game. The scoreline just doesn't seem that impressive for Sam Houston.
No, it's not.
But I don't know. I don't know if they pulled the starters early or whatever. But then the next week you lose to App State at home, and the score is 17-14. But I did see a lot of that game. App State controlled that game. They dominated A&M, and they didn't
look bad.
And they didn't look very good against Miami.
Hold on, Calvin, come on over here, man. He's like, come on over here, man. I ain't got but one mic. It can't even. They can at least see you. You can wave to the people or something. All right, come on. Be careful with the cords. Hey, we just want to give a big shout out to my man. Come on, slide your chair over a little bit. Yeah, there's my man Calvin. You can see JT with it.
Hello.
Yes, sir. So, man, we just want to say we appreciate you, man, for having us come out and be out here and celebrate a birthday with you.
I appreciate you guys.
You
But I've
know,
been celebrating a little bit early, so I'm going to get over here.
that's all right. Well, I'm celebrating with some of your uh these fried pickles I got right here are actually pretty amazing. So
Yeah, I
come
need to
on
get
ahead.
out there so I can get me some fried pickles and some wings.
Yeah, man, I had the wings last week. I'm gonna get some wings probably after we finish. They got great food out here. After we finish up, JT, they always have karaoke out here on Wednesday nights, Wednesday through Sunday, as a matter of fact. It's a pretty fun crowd that's hanging out after that um, as well. So sorry to interrupt like that. Um, but let me jump into another. What do you think about this Clemson Wake Forest? It's Clemson at Wake Forest.
Uh, I think this is a game that Clemson is supposed to win handily. It's
Yeah.
Clemson -7. I would be. I would take that. Wake Forest's defense is not great.
They don't play defense.
Well, exactly. Clemson at least plays defense. Now, maybe you have questions about whether or not DJ Uiagalelei should be the starting quarterback. But Wake Forest ain't it.
Coach Griffin tried to get me to bet on that one, but I declined because he was at Wake Forest. He was trying to give me this whole point thing or whatever. But I do think Clemson should take it.
What
but
he's putting money on Wake Forest +7, or just Wake Forest just to win? He's taking
Just
Wake
to
Forest on the money line.
straight up, straight up.
Psych. No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay.
Bro,
Another one. What about what? Go ahead.
didn't they just almost lose to Liberty? Like Liberty was literally a 2-point conversion away to beating them. Vanderbilt put 25 on them. Like, come on, this.
Well, don't segue into Vanderbilt yet because we got to talk about Vanderbilt, Alabama in a minute. All right, because I'm just trying to get your picks on some of these games. So Baylor at Iowa State.
Ooh. I'm gonna take Baylor here, even though Baylor apparently is an underdog in this one too, +2.5.
Yep.
I'm going to excuse Baylor's loss to BYU because I think that was a fault of the coach.
BYU didn't look very good last week.
They didn't, but apparently Baylor did not travel to BYU until like Friday night or something like that.
Oh yeah, and they weren't used to all the.
And BYU is at altitude. So, like, I feel like you got to know that. You got to get there early. So, that's a.
Hey, I'm apologize. I don't know when you listen to this recording if you're gonna hear me crunching on these pickles or not because
I don't hear you. I don't hear you. So if I don't hear you, then what I hear in my headphones is what's going to make it into the final recording.
Okay, I just hear it and I'm like, ooh, I wonder if they hear me crunching on these doggone pickles.
No, if I would have said something.
Doing the show because they're pretty good. They're actually pretty good. Okay, so you said Baylor.
Yeah, I'm taking Baylor to win here just straight up.
Okay. TCU at SMU.
I'm not on the TCU bandwagon here. I know Granado would be upset. I keep trying to tell him. Let me find what the line is on that one. It's at SMU. TCU -2. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just a sucker for underdogs this week.
Yeah, you going for?
Give me the home team. I'm taking SMU.
I'm taking them too. Okay. This was not quite as close, but I just want to hear your feeling. Texas at Texas Tech. I don't think Texas is beat. Well, has in the recent past, Tech has been giving them fits.
Yeah. This is a game that Texas should win. Um, it's just one of those things where I don't know. Like, if does this turn into a shootout just because that's just what Texas Tech does? Hold on. So I do want to look at this because I think
I think their
there's
defense is better though. Texas defense is better. They should be able to slow down these guys.
okay. So there's no letdown like look ahead spot here. They got West Virginia next week. Nah, I think this is a game that Texas wins going away.
Handily, like
Yeah, I
for a
take
touchdown?
I'll take Texas in the points or minus the points here. It's a minus 6.5. I'll take Texas by a touchdown.
Okay, it's going to be interesting. On another note, just for us because Jermaine Bradley's on Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
He does play, and Terrence Brooks is with Texas. He might not be getting as many reps as he like, but it's just kind of cool to see your old former players playing against each other in a big game like this. That'll be cool for them to reunite.
Yeah. Well, I guess Texas Tech's quarterback is not. I think they're playing the backup right now. I think their starter is hurt too.
Yeah, it's not good.
So,
I'm
yeah,
taking Texas.
I'm taking Texas too.
Taking Texas. All right, Notre Dame at North Carolina.
Yikes! That might actually be a pretty good game.
Mhm.
Let me find the ACC
I think
here.
North Carolina is.
So the line I've got is North Carolina minus 1.5,
Mhm.
which is kind of concerning because you're at home and like at home is like +2 just for the fact that you're at home. Ooh,
But if Notre Dame loses, what happens to coach? Nothing.
man, they can't do coach like that. He recruits too well. Notre Dame, I think Notre Dame will quickly become irrelevant if they fire Marcus Freeman that quickly.
Yeah, but they lost. Who they lose to last week? Or
Marshall.
Marshall. Then they lost the week before, right? Ain't they 0 and something?
No, they won this week. They beat Cal. Maybe they shouldn't have, but yeah, they're 1-2 right now. The Tar Heels are 3-0. Oh, you know what?
Nope.
I'm going to Notre Dame here.
Oh, going Notre Dame.
Here's why. Hear me out. I'm looking at the North Carolina team's 3 victories at home versus Florida A&M, 56-24.
Yeah, nothing.
On the road against App State, 63-61. On the
They beat
road
'em.
at Georgia State, 35-28. Give me the
but,
Fighting Irish.
What's the coach's name? Mac Brown doing all that dancing and stuff in the locker room or whatever he's doing.
Well, Gene Chizik ain't playing no defense right now, or ain't calling no defense right now. Give me the Fighting Irish. I mean, yeah, they lost to Marshall, but they still played tough against Ohio State. Notre Dame's at least been tested. I do like Drake May. I think he's doing big things, but I think Notre Dame's defense is at least decent enough to hold North Carolina to not 60 something, to less than 60 points, and it seems like that's what they need to win. So, give me the Fighting Irish on the road plus 1.5 points.
I'm taking North Carolina. Okay. One more before we talk about Bama. Florida at Tennessee.
Oh, man. All right, so I've already got a request from Ed. Ed would like to be a guest on the show next week if we decide to do a recap of the Florida-Tennessee game because he will be in the stadium again.
Oh, cool.
He was there from when they were throwing stuff at Lane Kiffin, so he enjoyed it. He was actually on the show last week too.
Yes, he was. You guys did a great job, by the way. Sorry I missed that. I had to be out at a cowboy function last Wednesday. That's why I was not on location out here at the Lantern. Well, you can come out here on Saturdays or Sundays, and he got the Sunday ticket. He's got a lot of TVs out here. Great bar, great bartenders, great service, great everything out here. So come on out here and support your favorite team. But I am gonna talk about his favorite team, Calvin's favorite team, which is those Baltimore Ravens, who got upset, I believe,
Yeah.
this week. That's
That's why we're gonna talk about him.
why we're gonna talk about him. On his birthday, we're gonna talk about the Ravens. Um, but
So
yeah, so we love to have him on. So we are scheduled to have a guest out here on location. I need to confirm that first. But if we want to do another episode, or just if it doesn't show or if it doesn't work, then I'd love to have him back on. So let's do
okay.
that. Let's have him as a maybe even an
I
after
mean, we
show.
can.
I
Yeah,
don't-
we can either do an after show, or we can just have him pop in for a bit. He was generous enough to stay on with me last week. I'd asked for 10 to 15 minutes of his time, and he wanted to keep on chatting. Said it was fun. So, and he was the one who actually messaged me saying he was going to be in the stadium and that if we wanted to do a recap, he'd be available. So,
Oh, really?
yep. So I figured I'd throw that out there. But
Okay. Well, we have Ken Hamlin, the safety from the Dallas Cowboys, former safety from the Dallas Cowboys, who's supposed to be on. He also went to University of Arkansas.
oh,
Uh,
yep.
I
So we'll have a
believe.
recap on that game too.
Yeah, so that's why. Well, he would be on before the game, so it's kind of our trash talk to see if he thinks Arkansas is actually going to beat Alabama or not. But needs to say. Okay, so what was your pick though? We were talking about Florida at Tennessee.
Right. Florida at Tennessee. The Tennessee Volunteers are a 10.5 point favorite.
Yep.
I don't know if 10.5 is too high, but I am inclined to pick the Volunteers to win the game. They're at home. They showed me something against Pitt. Florida impressed me with Utah, but they did not impress me the following 2 weeks. I did not think that Kentucky was good enough to beat them, and I definitely didn't think that USF was good enough to basically beat them. Anthony Richardson, the last 2 weeks, so the first, after they beat Utah, I was like, oh, so if Dan Mullen really would have just played Anthony Richardson, maybe Dan Mullen might still have a job. And then after watching these last 2 weeks, I was like, oh, maybe Dan Mullen was right. And everybody else was just buying into the hype train that is Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson can take off and run. But it seems that if you take away the pass, or if you take away his running ability and you force him to throw the ball, the good things might happen for you. He to date, he has not thrown a touchdown pass. He's thrown 4 interceptions. Through 3 games, he has no touchdown passes and 4 interceptions. So, I think Tennessee's actually a pretty good team this year. Josh Heupel's doing a pretty good job, and they are taking care of business like they're supposed to be taking care of business. They beat Ball State. I mean, it's Ball State, but they beat them 59-10 like they're supposed to. They played Akron. They beat Akron 63-6, but they have sandwiched in there a road trip to Pitt, who's a pretty good team, and beat them 34-27 in overtime. So give me Tennessee over Florida. You know what? I'll take Tennessee minus the points. I'll give 10.5 points.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I was a little worried about that. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of been on the Florida hype train a little bit, but all right. Well,
Kentucky beat them by 10. Kentucky beat them at 10 at home, I think, or Kentucky beat Florida at 10 by 10 in the swamp. I think Tennessee could beat them by 10 on the road or at home in Rocky Top.
Good old Rocky Top. All right. Well, Alabama has Vandy. Vandy going to Alabama. Consuelo and I will be in the house. If you guys are wondering where am I going to be, am I going to be there? We will be there. A lot of Alabama activities we got this year because of the 30-year reunion of our national championship, um, which happened to be my senior year. So it all kind of goes together. So we will be there to watch this whooping. I think the line is 40,
40 and a half.
40 and a half. I hate lines like that, but whatever. I think Vanderbilt has the one good wide receiver that's balling. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's got
the
7
game doesn't
touchdowns.
excite me at all. Kind of like the ULM game. Um, I think that has to be a record. We have to look at what happened in the last Alabama game. It was offensive touchdown.
Oh, you want the drive? You want the drive chart? I can get you a drive chart.
Yeah, the first four, or the first drive was Alabama scores touchdown. Second one, uh, Young throws a interception, but on that same series, Alabama returns one for a touchdown, or defensive touchdown. The next one, we block a punt for a touchdown. So it's 21 to nothing in a couple minutes. Seems like.
Yeah. It was 21-0 with 8 minutes and 50 seconds left in the first quarter.
Yeah, it went kind of quick. So I already wasn't interested after that very much. But what did concern me, if you're looking at the box score and all that, is the lack of Burton. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, what concerns me just in general is Bryce threw 2 picks, bad picks.
They were bad. One's behind. I don't remember the other one.
I mean, it's yeah. So I mean, 4 plays they had a touchdown because they had. I guess. Why does this thing keep playing? Yeah, it was 4 plays and a touchdown, and then punt, and then Bryce throws an interception, and then the defense scores 14 points real quick. Then we get another touchdown, and then 4 plays, and we turn it over on downs, and then punt, and then another touchdown, which I think if we were playing a pretty decent team, that's okay. But to be at ULM, so it was 35-7.5. But if you take away the 14 points plus an interception, like that's not a half that you beat good teams with. And then coming out of the half, you threw another pick and 3 plays coming out of half.
Yeah.
Not
he was messing around because even when he ran in his touchdown, he was kind of loafing. I don't know if you saw that one or not. When he could have clearly ran it in, but then he had to spin and do all this other kind of stuff because he was jogging. You know, it just didn't look good. I'm sure Saban got on him a little bit about, hey man, if you're gonna go ahead and go. Don't be trotting and then barely get in. So, but whatever. I had a hard time watching it, but I needed to just to see what was going on. So, you taking Alabama in the points?
No.
Assuming you took Alabama, but the 40. I mean,
40 points.
They're gonna beat them by 40. I mean,
I guess probably. I wouldn't put any money on it. That's 40 points is a lot of points.
So you would take Vandy.
If
40.
I had to bet, I would take Vandy plus 40.5.
What's do you see the odds? Like plus whatever, 150, 350. Put down $100 and
according to ESPN, which is what I'm looking at right now, there is no money line because everybody knows who's gonna win this. Who's gonna win this game?
Okay.
So you have a spread and you have an over under.
All right, what's the over under?
The over under is 58.5. which means
Are you
that
going under?
Vegas kind of thinks the score is going to be what?
Kind of like how it was. It
50
was
to
50 something to 7. They gave up the one touchdown. Alabama gave up
Yeah.
the one touchdown, and then ended up being 63 to 7 or whatever it was. With taking a knee.
Yeah, so if you scored 58 points and you had to win by 40, that means you have to be putting up. It has to be like 50 to 10 is what they're kind of looking at. I don't know. That might be reasonable.
Yeah, really, it is. I mean, they could score 52. Defense holds up and plays well.
Yeah.
We'll be all right.
I don't know. All right, and I changed my mind. 50 to 10 doesn't sound out of the question for Vandy. So, yeah, I'll take Alabama minus the points then. Alabama minus the number.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's yeah. Were you saying something?
No, I was
Sorry.
about to ask who. I was about to ask who LSU had. They've been an interesting ride this year.
Oh, I don't know. I don't.
I'm looking
I
at.
don't
I'm looking it up
Okay.
right now to see. Oh, they got New Mexico. They'll beat them. That's fine.
Yeah, that's probably why I didn't have on my little list to talk about. There's probably a few other good games out there, but those are the main ones that I thought we should.
Uh-huh. Well, we can talk about Auburn, Missouri, because I'm sure Auburn is very close to firing their coach.
Yeah.
Well, since they already tried to fire him.
Losing, I guess I don't know. I hadn't been really reading on what they're saying about quarterback play out there and all this kind of stuff. But
Well, I know Zach Calzada ain't the answer.
well, I don't feel sorry for him either way, so I don't care. It's Auburn. All right, so let's flip a little bit, if you don't mind, and talk about these Dallas Cowboys and some pro stuff that's kind of going on. By the way, for those of y'all that hadn't heard, I'm very fortunate and pleased to be an analyst with CBS 11. On Sundays, I am on TV at 10:30 a.m. With Cowboys Game Day, live with Bill Jones and Andy Adler. Well, we're going to talk all things Cowboys for sure, and maybe some other topics as well. So it's actually been pretty cool, JT, and fun to be able to do that. I won't be live in the studio this week because I will be coming back from the Vanderbilt game, so I can't get back in time. But there'll still be some information out there. I'll still have some videos or something that they'll show. To kind of talk about this next game that the Cowboys have versus the Giants. But the Cowboys found a way to beat Cincinnati with Cooper Rush, a depleted offensive line, wide receiver crew that's not very good. We give props to the Cowboys, or we go shame on Cincinnati.
I think you're going to give a little bit of props to the Cowboys. I mean, there are some things that the Cowboys overcame. Having a backup quarterback, the defense. The defense looked phenomenal.
Defense.
But what we can say about the Bengals is they did not fix their offensive line like they thought they did, and maybe the Cowboys were proved right to let La'el Collins go.
Yeah, he got a pretty good chunk of money to go out there too, I believe. But when I watched the film, so I'm going to say thank you to you for turning me on to the NFL Plus stuff. So I don't know if you actually go back and watch the stuff, but it's pretty cool to see the coach's copy. So you can kind of see the mistakes.
Oh, yeah. So I should have asked you because remember I said I wasn't going to buy it because they were not holding up their end of the bargain when I had it the last 2 years. So they put the copy up and it's good. I can spend my money on it.
You can. It's not up. The coach's copy is not up in 24 hours. I think it's kind of like
48 hours.
Yeah, 48 hours or something. I hadn't really.
Well, that's what they told me last year, and then they just sometimes just didn't put up games at all.
No, I've seen it. Again, I've only really watched the Cowboys and the ones that we're kind of analyzing, looking at the teams that are doing for CBS, and things of that nature. But and I'm tend to watch those about Thursday, so it's later. So I can't give you the exact amount of time, but I've seen them.
Right, well, at least they're there.
All so it has a condensed version, with the no commercials and all that, so you can get through the game in 30 minutes or whatever. Then it has a full TV version, and then it has the third option if you want to watch it gives you the wide and end zone.
You about to get me started here, because the fact that you can watch a condensed version and it fits into 30 minutes.
A 4-hour game?
Yeah, means that the rest of the stuff is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
because I catch the condensed versions on YouTube sometimes. And I'll sit there, and sometimes they're like 27 minutes. It's like, what do you mean what do you mean the game starts at noon and it ends at 3:15? Then I'm only watching 27 minutes of football. What is that?
Well, you know it as a player. Think about the amount of time that you're actually playing a play versus all the other stuff that you're actually out there. Because
yeah, but I mean, like,
you're probably getting like 20 minutes if you take down cadence and shifts and movements and all that. You're really only running for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, but that, to me, that's not the stark difference for me. The stark difference is like, you go to a high school game, right, and it's like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and that's with all the pomp and circumstance that comes with a high school game. And then, for whatever reason, that has to double when you get to the pro, because of the damn commercials and whatnot. And it's like, come on. Like, this is why I'm like, hey, can we do the soccer model where you just put all the commercials at halftime? You get 15 minutes commercial at halftime, and we get the experience before and after that.
They're gonna be watching it then. They know they're up doing other things.
Well, it works for a global sport.
Because it's already a 20-minute halftime.
Which is, I mean, just stuff it full of commercials. Call it a day. Let me watch the football. We don't need TV timeouts and all this kind of stuff to make it a 4-hour game.
Nah, you're like your uncle there. You got to be able to challenge. You got to do all the other stuff.
I'm not saying get rid of challenges. I'm saying get rid of the commercials. I don't like being advertised to.
How you expect it to be on TV then? They ain't just gonna do. You just want on YouTube streamed.
I'm just
one camera angle.
I'm still just trying to figure out how is it that the most popular sport on the planet gets away with not having commercials. If they can do it, I don't understand why we have to be stuck with this model. I think basketball even has fewer commercials.
Well, yeah, you can't stop them in the middle of the play. Their play might be going for a minute.
I'm just saying, there's too many. And then to get to the Super Bowl, and most people are watching the Super Bowl solely for the commercials, is not a good look either.
They spend a lot of money on their commercials.
I know they do.
$2 million in 30 seconds or whatever. Okay, so Cooper Rush got he's 2-0 as a starter. One last year he beat Minnesota. This year he just beat Cincinnati. Two pretty good football teams.
He beat Minnesota on the road, right? They won the whole game.
He's going up to the Giants this week on Monday Night Football. Here's my hot take. I think he wins again.
I think so too. I don't know if the Giants are very good
this week. I don't think they are either. They are 2-0. But I think our defense is too strong and too good.
Can a defense in the NFL carry you like that? You can get away with that in college. But can you get away with a full season of a defense carry you like that in the NFL?
I think the Baltimore Ravens did a few years ago when they had Ray Lewis and all them guys. Their offense wasn't all that potent.
It's fair enough.
pre Lamar.
But people look at those as kind of like an all-time defense, right? So does that mean that we're saying that the Cowboys defense might be an all-time defense?
Well, according to their stats, I'm sure you'll look it up after the show or something. They're doing some pretty amazing things with like yards per play currently right now with two good teams, Tampa Bay and Cincy, who are supposed to have pretty good offenses.
Yeah, they went deep. Carolina and Tennessee
really
definitely
hadn't given
did
up
not.
that many points in 2 games. What did they give up?
39 points in 2 games.
Yeah, and they probably shouldn't have given that many in the Tampa game. It just the offense wasn't even there to help them at all.
Right.
So I don't know. I think coming out of the Cowboy camp, they think they're pretty special and that they're going to get better if they can stay healthy. Micah is absolutely amazing on what he's doing, rushing the ball out of a 2-point stance. Is crazy to me to watch it. But I think they can keep him in it. You're going to have the Commanders.
They're awful.
Next week. So, I mean, if we don't have Dak back by then, we really could be 3-1. In the first quarter. Of the schedule.
I missed some comments.
We'll see.
Sorry, fellas and or ladies.
You just out there. What are you doing? Just chilling, sipping on your water, and not paying attention. To
not paying attention. We had a comment about the Wake Forest game, asking if the Wake QB was even healthy, and then we had this one. This one's timely.
Oh yes, yes, sir. Hey man, I'm kind of excited about it. About where they're at. There's all kind of talk about speculation of what's going to happen. What happens if Cooper does well in the next couple games, and then Dak comes back.
They're not firing Dak, but I do want to ask you this though.
Fans always are different, though, brother.
That's true. But I do want to ask you this, since you are the official CBS analyst, you are required to give answers to the fans. The fans want to know. So when I'm watching the Tampa Bay game, which was barely, because I was not interested at all. It was one of those things where I watched the first half and I was like, I've seen enough. I've seen enough of Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator. I'm done with this. I don't need to watch no more. Mm-hmm. Then Dak gets hurt, and then they play the Bengals, and I'm like, what? Whose offense is this? So now I don't know, like, what's the actual problem here?
Well, okay, so this is the scoop that I kind of got on this. And I'm not necessarily saying I'm a favorite of Kellen Moore because I think there's still some things with that. But with Cooper's success, specifically told this, is that, and you'll relate to this, that the backup quarterback, oftentimes you're in a better position mentally with the right decision making. They don't have the pretty ball or the nice legs or the big runs and all that stuff, but they're very calculated and they know where to put the ball. And so the words that I got was Cooper is very, very good at that. Doesn't look good, doesn't look pretty, but he knows exactly what he's supposed to do mentally. Dak, on the other hand, is maybe a little less confident when it comes to that part, but his ball looks good. He comes out, he can run, he's dual threat, blah, blah, blah. So by the grace of Cooper's mentality, Kellen Moore's offense looked better. That was a knock on Dak, the way I took it, a little bit. So
interesting
from my analyst point, and that was from some QB coaches across the league, not out of the Dallas Cowboys camp. So that was kind of interesting to me. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it kind of does. I think we're gonna have to clip that and put it on Twitter though.
Okay.
Make a soundbite out of it.
Yeah, because it gets kind of interesting when I never even really thought about it because I was just trying to figure out, hey, what do players really think? That's what I wanted to talk about. What do coaches really think when you got a backup quarterback? And it's like, hey, you know what? You don't want your backup quarterback in there all the time just because he
Well,
whatever
he's a
they
backup
can't
for a
get.
reason.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. He's a backup for a reason. But man, they're the ones really watching the film. Got to be ready. I shouldn't say watching the film, but you know what I mean.
Well, if that's
Having
the
to be ready.
case in Arizona, that might actually be the case.
Oh gosh.
But that's none of my business.
Yeah, but did he save himself this past week by winning and getting the dub, even though he got slapped in the face or
I was
whatever
gonna
it was?
say no, not in my opinion. Just because you had a sequence of like 6 good plays doesn't excuse the first 3.5 quarters. But
Yeah.
you know,
By the way, well, I don't think that was malicious. I don't know if you saw the clip of the guy hitting him in the face.
oh no, I
I,
didn't. I saw this headline in here that said uh, Kyler said he had no hard feelings for fan who hit him, and I was like, I don't know what that's about, but all right.
yeah, I saw the clip because when I first saw, it, I was like, man, there we go, another old dumb fan doing something stupid. But then when I watched it, I could see where it's like, everybody's excited. You got a Kyler Murray over there, and he's high fiving people, and the guy was kind of behind some other people, was kind of reaching over, kind of looked like he was trying to touch him, have part of it, and
Uh-huh.
just happened to smack him in the face instead of on top of the head. That's what it looked like to me.
Got it.
But when you get hit in the face, obviously there's a natural reaction by Kyler to go, what, and back at it. And I don't know if they've actually talked to the guy about what's going to happen to him, but it didn't look bad after I saw it. What did look bad was Mike Evans going after Lattimore for the Saints,
Mm-hmm.
all because of Tom Brady.
Well, I mean, that's usually how it works, isn't it? Somebody.
Mhm.
I mean, I feel like it's always Lattimore, or I guess Gardner Johnson is not there anymore, but it's always Gardner Johnson or Lattimore saying something to Tom Brady. Tom Brady turns around and says something, and then feathers get ruffled, and then a fight happens. It seems like
Yeah,
that's just how the Bucks and Saints go these days.
yeah, it was bad. And I wonder when players feel like when you don't need to appeal like this. He's trying to. I mean, he went and attacked the dude, and then he's gonna appeal the suspension. I'm like, come on, dude. You just need to pay your fine, sit out the game.
Well,
I mean, it's
did
like
you
every,
see
every
did you see the Tennessee player that was throwing haymakers at the Akron dude?
no. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like
Hold on,
in
Calvin. Hey, Cal. Yeah, we're talking. Hey, man, why don't you do me a favor and you had this very special drink that you turned me on to. You know the one that I'm talking about?
ooh.
Yeah. Why don't you get me? For your birthday, let's do one of those together. All right. Yeah, you have to come out for a very special drink one day, even if it's in the afternoon. JT.
All right.
Um, Maybe one day after practice before you head home or whatever. These are pretty stinking good. Yeah, they don't hit you very hard. Um, they don't put hair on your chest. It tastes good.
That just means they're dangerous. They don't hit you hard and they taste good. That means they're dangerous.
It's not like like Sex on the Beach, one of those things where it's real sweet and all that. It's not like that. But man, it does have the word beach in it though, so that lets you
Mm-hmm. So what does it mean? It's got orange juice in it or something?
know. I don't know. I'll show you the picture after he brings some um, up here. Oh, okay. So now, since you were talking about Kellen Moore and all that kind of stuff, you got any feelings about what was supposed to happen with? Is the heat off of McCarthy a little bit? So McCarthy's been very outspoken a little bit, kind of calling out wide receivers, saying, "Hey, they can't get off bump and run." They twisted his words up a little bit about Kellen Moore and saying, "Hey, making the right calls at the right time and all this kind of stuff." So I give him a pass on that, but it seems to be a little bit more vocal. Like, "Hey, if I'm going down swinging. I'm gonna call this fourth down, go for it on fourth down in the first drive of the last game with my backup quarterback. It happens, it works, and you end up winning the game. So, did he show us something, McCarthy? Did he show us something this past week?
Um,
People listening to the podcast afterwards can't see the face that you just made. I saw it.
I'm gonna say no, because here's the deal. Like, it's all fun and games.
Hold on, time. So we're having great times out here at Nana Street Grill and Tap House. Yes, sir. 6205 Court Road. I got it all, man. In Plano, at the corner of Spring Creek and Court Road, man. We're here. It's a great place to be able to come out watching football. If you don't want to watch football, come on the days when they have the Ravens playing. So we got to talk about you.
Oh my goodness, that was a debacle.
It was. So he says it's a debacle. So we're gonna cheers to your birthday and to that
Thank you, George.
debacle. Looks like that, JT.
Thank you,
I don't know if
JT.
you can see.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if YouTube docks us for that or not.
oh, that was pickle juice. Okay, so two things, and then we'll kind of wrap it up. That one is McCarthy get a pass, or is he back where he needs to be? Did he show us something this week?
No, I'm not putting any stock into any of this because it's all fun and games while your backup is running around doing the things he does. But like if they look good with Cooper Rush out here and Cooper Rush is making the plays and doing this stuff, and then Dak comes back and they're scoring 3 points against the Bucks again. And then it's like, what are we doing? Like, who? That's why I'm like, who is to blame here? If they go back in 6 weeks when Dak shows up and the offense regresses,
Turn your back on Dak. He's a $40 million.
That's what I'm asking. I'm like, so then is it the quarterback? Is it the head coach? Is the offensive coordinator? Is it all three? Like, I don't know. That's not my job. That's not my job to figure that out. But that's why I'm just like, look, if I feel like that's the head coach's job to figure that out.
I think it's your job as a co-host of Teague's Take. You're supposed to figure this stuff out so you can give the information to the people. Say, who
Look,
thought of it?
Look, I don't know the answer to these questions. I'm just saying that I'm reserving judgment on the McCarthy Kellen Moore experiment until Dak comes back. Because week 1, I was watching the TV and said, I've seen enough of this project. The defense looks great, but the offense ain't it.
It was bad, JT. And we were in the stadium.
I bet it was. Well, remember, I said it in the offseason when we were doing our show. I said the Cowboys offense, I said even just on paper, to me, is demonstrably worse than they were a year ago. And they didn't do me any favors against Tampa Bay.
Yep. Okay, one more last honor for Calvin. The Ravens. Well, first of all, if you had Lamar Jackson on your fantasy football team, the dude went off. It's kind of crazy, man. Just the way he's running and throwing the ball and all that kind of stuff. I do have him in one of my leagues, or maybe a couple of them. So I was very happy with that.
Yeah, I'm glad I retired.
But the Ravens give up a big one. To the Dolphins, right?
Yeah, I'm actually trying to get to. I want to get to the drive chart.
The last few minutes, Tua decided to have heyday and go off and win a big game.
Yeah, 28 points in the fourth quarter is that's not okay.
Yeah, how you feel about that, Calvin? The Ravens gave up 28 points in the fourth quarter. Look at it. He came around the corner when I said that. Man, I don't know because I saw it. I don't remember what was the quarter. What was the first quarter score? I thought they were up by 28 or something.
Well, at halftime they were up 28-7, so they were up 3 touchdowns at half. They were up 3 touchdowns. Hold on, let me see. Basically, at the end of the third quarter. So Baltimore scored with 26 seconds left in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Oh, well then, and then Miami scored in, I guess, 3 minutes. So, fourth quarter, Baltimore was up 14 points.
We are still talking about this game, Calvin.
And they were up with 2 minutes left.
The bad thing was I actually picked up the Ravens defense, sat the Dallas Cowboys defense down on the bench, and then this happens. So,
yeah, 35-14 at the end of the third. 35-21, 12 minutes to go in the fourth. 38-35, Baltimore with 2 minutes and 18 seconds to go.
Yeah. We'll get off the Ravens because I think they'll bounce back. They're going to be all right. They got some. They don't really have. They don't have their running backs in order yet. Tua's been showing his butt, doing his thing, representing. The Alabama quarterbacks have kind of been showing up. We're talking about Jalen Hurts and
Mac.
Yeah. Now I don't know what kind of year Mac is having right now. That's kind of.
Well, he had apparently, I didn't see it, but apparently he had a big game last week. I mean,
I don't think they scored that many points.
No, 17 points against.
I think they're struggling. He's gonna be fine. He ain't got no real big weapons either.
Oh no, I mean that's New England though. That's what he was drafted into.
They don't even have an offensive coordinator, really. I guess they're saying Josh McDaniels or whatever his name is. But anyway.
Oh, we got to talk 2 firings in NCAA when we're done, by the way.
Who was that? Jump into it now because I don't even know what you're talking about.
Scott Frost was fired from Nebraska.
Oh, yeah. I know that one.
And as of Monday this week, maybe Tuesday, Herm Edwards was fired from Arizona State.
Arizona State. That's right. Surprised I didn't text you on that because when I heard about Herm Edwards going down, I was like, was this even in the works?
Oh, yeah. Arizona State. Arizona State has been it's been rough over there. A few things. Arizona State has not particularly been a good football program in general. Not saying that Herm Edwards' approach was wrong, but it was definitely unorthodox. It was kind of like Mike Singletary over at TCA, how that dynamic was. He was the head coach, but he was the head coach from afar.
Yeah.
That's how Herm Edwards came in to set up Arizona State. And they had all kinds of recruiting violations. And I think I saw an article that said that Herm Edwards seemed to not care to learn the NCAA bylaws at all.
How do you have recruiting violations and not win?
I'm saying.
Or whatever. But it's Arizona State. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry that he took that approach. I didn't know if he's kind of hands off like that.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I love Coach Creighton, because Coach Creighton is the head coach at Eastern Michigan now. But if you're Arizona State, you cannot let Eastern Michigan come to your place and put 30 on you and beat you. That's not okay.
No, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you can't have that. When you're like that, we knew it was going to happen to Scott Frost.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it
should happen.
Just a matter of time that we knew it was going to go down. They were just waiting for whatever. The Herm Edwards, I don't know. I guess I just wasn't paying much attention to what was going on with Herm in Arizona State.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of the problem, right? I mean, you hire Herm Edwards to kind of put you back on the map. And the fact that you hadn't even heard of like what Arizona State was doing. I think is part of the problem.
Okay, touche, touche. That was. I don't know. It just caught me off guard. Um, I don't. I think they're still a long ways away. Arizona State. I don't know that whole division or conference is just
It's weird.
different.
Yep.
So um, I don't get excited about it like I do with the ACC. I don't know what would you rank for your favorite conferences? We always talk about the SEC. We
Uh-huh.
tend to talk about the ACC. Who do you go next? You going Big 12 or you going Big 10?
To be honest, if I'm just watching TV, so if you're asking me like entertainment value, like which conference games I would
Yes.
more watch on TV, it's actually the American.
Oh,
I would much rather see Cincinnati and Memphis play each other than I don't know name a school because I think those games are more competitive on average. Coastal Carolina playing a team in their division is generally going to be more of a better game than like we talked about this last week. I think the Big Ten is probably the second best conference, top to bottom.
okay.
But like watching Iowa sucks. I don't want to watch Iowa. I don't want to watch Northwestern. I don't want to watch Nebraska. It's just not. I don't want to watch Illinois. It's not good. It's not fun football. I shouldn't say it's not good football. It's not fun football. And then I think followed by that, I think the probably
you want
the
Fresno State.
eh
I like to throw the ball around a little bit.
yeah, but
You want the
Fresno
old? What's the conference they had where they did all the trick plays all the time with Boise and all them? Which one?
the Mountain West. I think Boise's still in the Mountain West.
Yeah, because
But
they used to be fun to watch because they was always coming up with something.
I think the Big 12 is going to be the
On.
no, they're going to be I think they're going to be the next most interesting conference to watch because BYU is going to be coming in, Houston's going to be coming in, Cincinnati's going to be coming in, and I think watching, Baylor, I guess Oklahoma and Texas are going to leave, but if they're still there, like next year, if you have Oklahoma, Texas, Baylor, and then you bring in BYU, Cincinnati, and Houston, I think that is going to be. That's a conference where you look into November and you're like, I actually don't know who's going to win this conference. It's going to come down to the last game. Somebody's going to lose and play spoiler. TCU is going to beat somebody or Kansas is going to beat somebody they're not supposed to. And then like BYU is going to win the conference and everybody's going to lose their minds. I think it'll just be a fun ride all the way.
Okay. All right, man. I got to wrap it up in here though. They're starting to get ready for the karaoke stuff and all this kind of stuff. We've kind of gone over a little bit.
All right.
And I need to go over there and make sure Calvin's all right. Make sure we keep him hydrated tonight.
Hey, get home safe,
he's
Calvin.
good people, though. I have to say Calvin is a big supporter of JP2 as well. I didn't know if you knew that or not. He's in the past, him and a lot of patrons from Lantern Street Grill and Tap House attend JP2 games. They continue to ask me all the time, hey, when's the basketball team playing? When's the football team playing? What we do? Blah, blah, blah. So we're very thankful.
Well, speaking of which, we need to have a conversation. So I guess call me after something.
Okay. Yeah, I'll hit you up after I break now. But anyway, I'll be out here again next week. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Pay attention to our feeds at Teague Football or Teague's Take on Twitter and on IG, on Facebook. This George Teague. I'll let you know about our guests next week if we'll be here with someone else. But I will be back out here. JT will still be on location or at home, but I'll be out here again next week to do that, and we'll cover some stuff about this Arkansas game, and hopefully we'll have Mr. Hamlin out here with us to do that. Make sure you give us go ahead and subscribe. Get to our YouTube page if you listen to it, record it, um, subscribe, hit likes, get the reminders so you know exactly when it's going to be on. We're kind of teetering with the time a little bit. We appreciate you guys for that. JT, while he's coaching, it's kind of hard for him to get back home
Yep.
on time to start the show at 8. So we're probably going to start doing the shows at 8:15 through the high school football season, and then we'll back it back up to 8 o'clock, just so it's not getting too late.
Yeah, and we might even be able to go. Maybe I shouldn't say this live, but maybe if you've got the time, we might be able to go a little bit earlier. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it is definitely difficult after practice sometimes, and coaches want to talk to you and figure out what's going on. And next thing you know, you look down, it's 7:05. You're like, I'm supposed to almost be home by now.
Yeah, that's part of it, buddy. And you got to do what you got to do. So we understand it, and hopefully you guys will just be patient with us as we go through this. And if you listen to the live show, we get it. The other ones, if you just download it, it's pretty cool.
Yep, and you don't know any different.
Right.
I said the people who listen to it on the podcast don't even know any different. They just know that I put it up late anyway.
Yeah. So we're all good. But it's good times. We got some people out here playing pool. We got some. They moved the video games for us, so they can't do your golden tee and your pinball because it's normally right here in this area. I got to get my dog going to sign up here back here behind me, but I'm gonna sit down now. I'm gonna go for these wings. JT, I'll make sure I send you a picture while I'm talking to you here in a minute. But other than that, we do appreciate everybody for all that they do. Stay tuned to everything that we do. Give us your likes, give us your comments, tell people to come listen to us. We will appreciate it. So I'm going to go ahead and chime out right now. Hold on, let me do like JT just for old time's sake.
I forgot.
We're out.